Hello everyone, Mark here, Mark's Max Muscle, and today we're going to take a look at Hadi Choopan and Derek Lunsford from the 2023 Mr. Olympia event. These guys, of course, were 1 and 2, and as of late, this seems to be quite a debate. A lot of people say that Hadi Choopan was robbed. He placed second, of course, and Derek Lunsford, he robbed Hadi Choopan. First of all, it was the judge's decision, not Derek's decision, to give himself the win. Otherwise, I think they would all want to be the winner. But either which way, guys, Tyler Mannion, IFBB vice president, the Pro League vice president, he just made a video, and pose by pose, he explained why Derek Lunsford did win. But I'm not an IFBB judge. I'm a fan, like a lot of you guys. So we're going to go pose by pose, and I will give you my opinion on this from a fan's point of view. Derek Lunsford, he's so strong in this shot. Look at that V-taper. And we're not going to be pointing no fingers to Synthol and the Lats. I seen all the comments. Last time I checked, Hadi Choopan was guilty of that same thing. But anyway, we're going to go by what we see. And what we see here is two tremendous V-tapers, two of the best V-tapers in all of the IFBB. Derek, maybe an edge in the arm department, and that surprises me. Hadi, I think his arms were much better last year. Little unsymmetrical, I have to say. Little unsymmetrical in the wheels too, but he is tilted thosely. Very hard, very grainy in those legs as Hadi Choopan. Now this is actually from the prejudging, the first day as well, side by side. So we have a couple of pictures from each day. And yes, Hadi's wheels are a little unsymmetrical, but much harder, much grainier looking than Derek Lunsford's. V-taper is different for these guys. Apples and oranges as far as the arms are concerned as well. Interesting. Now the finals, for some reason, they were blowing smoke in through Hadi. You couldn't see nothing. You can kind of see the biceps here. And Hadi, he does have pretty separated arms there. Derek's V-taper looks even better from what I can see here. Looks even better in the finals. Now here is a side-by-side from the finals. Interesting. Very interesting. Hadi's good. You know, those wheels aren't too bad as far as the asymmetry is concerned. They look bigger than Derek's, I would suggest. Derek's arms, are they really better? Hadi's look a little bit more separated here. So the front double, in my opinion, is not just a takeaway for Derek. And like I said, the lats are innocent until proven guilty for Derek. But we still see it. So a blowout for Derek in the front double? No. Close in my opinion. Front lat spread. A pose worth mentioning that was a takeaway for Hadi Choopan last year. In my opinion, Derek was very smooth. Maybe a little too smooth. Monsoon in the torso heap last year. He created a lot of separation. But still, I would give Hadi Choopan the front lat spread. His structure seems to be a little bit bigger in the delts, things of that nature. And Derek, he might have a smaller waist in the front double, but front lat spread, I don't know. And here is a side-by-side from the prejudging. And NPC News Online features all of these pictures, guys. You can go over, and there's these and many more if you want to, keep this debate going. Derek, yes, he has a lot of separation through those abs, but ditto with Hadi. And Hadi is, look at the lats. Now, this is an interesting situation. Here's the finals. The gap is closing in. You can see Derek's a little bit more separated. Look at the abs. And hey, I was right there with you guys. Right after the Olympia, I thought, Hadi Choopan should have won, right? Well, going through these shots, looking at the finals, Hadi looks a little bit smoother the second day. Having said that, is it still a victory for Hadi in the front lat spread? Closer than you thought, isn't it? Go to the side. And Derek Lunsford, in my opinion, he is the better man in this shot. Lower half is Derek's, for sure. Keep in mind, this is the prejudging. Upper body, it's debatable. Here is also the prejudging. And if you're going to be talking about Derek's lats, My soul, my soul. I could see the newspapers now if Hadi Choopan had a won. This picture here with arrows pointed all over his delts. You know what I'm saying? Sing! They only pick on the winner. They only pick on the winner. But yes, Derek is huge in the upper body. In my opinion, I don't really think there's a debate. Now here's the finals. This is not used to judge silhouettes, things of that nature, but you can see that Hadi is not as razor thin skinned. He's not as oniony skinned as he was, I don't think, the first day. And Derek, even more so. Even more so. Finals. Well, the other one was finals too, but this is the final say on the finals. And like I was saying, guys, delts, there would be arrows pointing. How could you dare give this, or give the Olympia title to the Synthel and the delts? Simply preposterous. So Derek, winning the side chest in more than one way. Go to the side tricep. Another close one. Hadi Choopan's abs are tremendous in this one. Derek's, I'm not that impressed with his midsection. I know, as soon as the Olympia was over, or even before it was over, I was complaining about Derek's midsection, and I stand next to that, or I stand firm on that. I think that he needs a little bit more separation in the abs to maybe even win this shot. And here is also the prejudging side by side. Derek's lower half is so much better that it is not even funny. And I guess you could say the same thing for Hadi Choopan in the midsection. Derek has a great big man's manly chest, doesn't he? Huh? Now here is the finals. This is the finals. We don't have individual pictures for the finals for a lot of the shots. Derek, much thinly skinlier. Is that a word? Yeah, but look at the delts. Look at the muscle in the arms. Things of that nature. And he is a lot better in the finals. And Hadi Choopan, not quite as good. Making this side tricep pose a close one, a very close one. And it is going to be an apples versus oranges. The arm, the flow, the lower half. A lot of these things, Derek Lunsford is checking those boxes. Hadi Choopan, the more you look at it, he's winning on the abs. That's about it. That's important, but I don't think it's enough for a victory. Go to the back. And this is where Derek Lunsford, I believe, gives his answer to Hadi Choopan's much more peeled front. Abs, things of that nature. Because Derek, in the lower half, glutes, hamstrings, things of that nature, he is much more conditioned. And if you were watching the video footage, it was much more apparent. Now, back for back, Hadi, he still has one of the best lat spreads of all time. Not as good as last year, mind you. He was so much wider, I think, last year. Here's the side-by-side, and you can see, guys, the conditioning, the lower half, Derek was alien-like. I mean, he won the Olympia. Everybody was pointing to his delt or his lats. Oh, what's going on here? I mean, forget the fact that he had some of the most peeled onion skin in the lower half of all time. Here's the finals. Wow. Wow. Now, both guys, I just don't think they're opened up fully. But Hadi Choopan in particular seems to be a lot smaller the next day. And smoother monsoon. Smoother for sure. These side-by-side pictures, maybe not the closest. And gosh darn it, we don't have the rear lat spread. But we do have a standing pose. And I understand Derek's flexing a little bit more. But I think he's flexed up. And it is obvious to me, I'm sure the judges could concur, that Hadi was not as tight the second day. And Derek Lunsford, on the contrary, he really cranked it up a notch. So, yeah. All these pictures of Hadi Choopan winning from the front, saying he was robbed, should in little epithet in the bottom, they should show this back shot and say, well, Derek was more peeled. And the rear double is a Derek Lunsford pose. And I could even imagine You Hadi Choopan, you diehard Hadi Choopan fans, and hey, I like both of these guys. I don't dislike either one of them. I think you guys would even admit Derek Lunsford has one of the best rear double buys of all time. A very short list of guys that could beat Derek in this. Ronnie Coleman could beat him in this. Phil Heath could beat him. Dorian Yates could beat him in this shot. Here's also the prejudging. But aside from those guys, I do not know of too many that would beat Derek Lunsford in this shot. And those guys are probably beating him just because they're bigger and taller with similar quality. Yes, Hadi, whether it be the lats, the width, or the conditioning, it's hard to touch Derek. And here's the finals. And Hadi looks pretty decent here, actually. I think Hadi looks just as good going by these pictures in the rear double as he did at the prejudging. But still, look at Derek. He looks twice as shredded again than he did at the prejudging. Wow. Of course, lighting and things of that nature are going to be different. And here is the the finals for each guy, but it is a closer up individual shot. And this is where I noticed when Hadi came out to do his routine. He seemed a little too excited, if you know what I'm saying. Doing a Dextric Lewis impression. Huh? Oh, maybe not. But, all seriousness, his condition was nowhere near as good as Derek Lunsford. So, we are rounding an end to this one, and we can see Hadi Choopan. He is defeating Derek Lunsford in the ab department. V-taper, Derek, he is tremendous. More than holding his own, absolutely. Quads, things of that nature. But, I mean, nobody's going to defeat Hadi in the abs. And here is, okay. We're going to be fair. We're going to let Derek Lunsford hit the vacuum. They seem to be okay with it. The IFBB, staff, things of that nature. I'm okay with the vacuum. But when you have abs etched like Hadi Choopan, no way. Finals as well. Is it just the conditioning for Hadi, or was he a little bit slighter in size in the finals? Very, very shredded in the abs. Actually, you get to see, or if you got to see a picture between Andrew Jacked and Hadi Choopan at the Olympia, Hadi had much more peeled, pizzizzled abs than one Andrew Jacked. And this will be the last time we get to see Derek Lunsford's lats. And I'm not being a Derek Lunsford fanboy. I just kind of question all these accusations of what he put in those lats. And just off topic, here's a picture of Brian Buchanan. Back in the 80s? Just gonna sit this here for a second. Not saying, I'm just saying. He's got some pretty bulbousy lats, doesn't he? No synthol back then. And this is the last pose in this very tight competition, very close matchup. And Hadi Choopan proving that he is worthy of at least a discussion in this one of why he was quote-unquote robbed. I don't like to use that word, not when it's close. When it's close, it's not a robbery. When a guy's winning every single pose and it's obvious, yeah, you could say it's a robbery. Now, you go through the most musculars, and no matter how you look at this one, I think Hadi Choopan is just too ripped, too muscular. It's a most muscular. I mean, Derek's got some good body parts, yes, but it's just a far cry from being able to defeat Hadi Choopan. And the finals as well, although it is worth to mention, and you Derek Lunsford haters, because I know there's a pile of you guys. Any new champion always has it. Brandon Curry went through it. Hadi did, probably. Of course, Hadi was, runner-up so many times that kind of, I think people were just happy to see him finally win it. But I'm sure you guys can even admit Derek looks a whole lot better in the finals than he did in the prejudging. And as we creep closer to the very end of this one, you can see the finals here. Derek, no, he's probably not defeating Hadi, but he's much more of a match to Hadi here in the finals. than he was at the prejudging. So in my opinion, front double was close. Probably give an edge to Derek due to the V taper and the arms, and the front lat I'd give to Hadi Choopan. Side, I actually went with Derek for both, and Derek for both back shots, considering the conditioning, guys. And the abs and thigh, both abs and thigh and most muscular were going to Hadi Choopan. So my ultimate response is that Derek wins more poses than Hadi Choopan based on these pictures and my opinion. That's just my opinion. And to me, that's what makes bodybuilding so interesting. We can still discuss it. It is actually worth discussing. Now, why do I believe so many people think Hadi Choopan was robbed? If I just went pose by pose and I see now that no, Derek did not rob Hadi. First of all, it wasn't him. Like I said, it was the judges. But no, I don't believe that it was a robbery, pose by pose. So why do so many people think that it is? I'll tell you why. Well, I'll tell you why I think. It's because Hadi is winning cover to cover. He's winning the very first shot, the front relaxed position. It's obvious. The abs make it. The abs make it. And the last pose we see, the most muscular. So from cover to cover, Hadi's winning. And it makes it so gosh darn debatable when you just look and glimpse at those two poses and you don't get to see the full, the full atmosphere. And you die-hard bodybuilding fans, you guys should hold your head up high and say, yes, it looks at first glance like it was an absolute robbery, but you can't go by a couple of shots. You gotta go by all of them, and if they had given it to Hadi Choopan, telling you right now, guys, the pictures of those delts would be going around on the internet. We would see nothing but glute pictures of how Derek was much more peeled than Hadi. How dare they give it to the softer guy? Nom 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 nom. That's me complaining, eating potato chips on my couch. Nom 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 nom. Hit thumbs up on the video, guys. Love and appreciate all your opinions. And if you still think Hadi is the rightful winner, that's because it's your opinion. And you are absolutely entitled to it. And like I said, makes bodybuilding much more interesting than, say, running. The faster runner wins. No debate. Nothing to talk about the next day. At least with bodybuilding, there's something to talk about. Have a great one, guys.